Hi everybody, it's Lorraine Murray here from Big Connected Kids. Going to do a short piece here all about how we can meditate whilst we're using social media and email. And it's maybe not something you've considered before because you think in order to meditate you have to take yourself away from technology. But I've been experimenting with this for a little while, and although I do have a regular meditation practice, which I really enjoy, the time that I spend on social media and also on just regular checking of emails can seem to build up some levels of stress in me, and it's all very well meditating, but what's the point if I'm just going to get stressed by using social media? And one of the things you might be interested to know is that the research shows us that when we use social media in particular, and Facebook being one of them, where we put something on online and then we check to see if anyone likes it. Every time we get a like on a post that we submit, our brain feeds us with something called dopamine, and dopamine makes us feel good. It's a chemical in our brain that actually makes us feel good. So that is an interesting fact to know about, because it can mean that we can become quite addicted to using social media because we're looking for a little dopamine fix every time we check online. So being aware is the main part of meditation, where we start to become aware of what triggers us and to see what and why we're doing something, and then with that awareness we can become more empowered. However, even though you know that, you may find yourself still using social media. And what I've been noticing with social media and emails that I've been doing is that sometimes I catch myself holding my breath. So I'm not breathing properly or normally. It's almost like I've restricted my breathing, or I just, for that few seconds, just holding my breath. And when I'm doing this in a non-conscious way, this is very stressful for my body, because my body needs the breath. It needs the oxygen to circulate around to support the cells, and the breath is used to carry away all the toxins in the body too. So my holding my breath is not helpful at all. So when I started to notice this, I started to notice I was holding my breath, and then I'd just take my attention to my breath. And even though I was still looking at social media, I was just also at the same time noticing my breath and trying as much as I could to encourage myself to notice my breath. So that's one tip I would give you. The other one is to notice your body, how your body feels when you're using social media or you're writing an email. And again, I use my own personal practice to illustrate this, where I find sometimes that my hand is like gripping the mouse. You know, it's like, this is my little mouse here, just gripping the mouse all the time. And my shoulder was slightly raised, and I wasn't really allowing myself to just relax or just, take my hand back and own it rather than having it attached permanently to the mouse. So if you find yourself, gripping the mouse or a lot of tension in your body, just see if you can take your hand away for a moment, just to give yourself a couple of seconds of respite. And if you can't, if you are still holding the mouse, just see if you can allow it to relax so that you're not gripping like this. The same goes for other parts of your body, actually. Your legs and your buttocks, we tend to hold on a lot of tension in that part of our body. So if you are noticing that your buttocks are quite tense and or your legs are tense, then just take a moment to tighten them for a moment and then relax them. And it can be used all over the body, that technique, the tightening and relaxing, and it's called progressive muscle relaxation. But if you're noticing a particular part of your body that's really tense, just exaggerate the tension and then breathe out and just let it go. So that's my second tip for you with using social media and emails. And then the third thing I would say to you is just be aware of, as well as the dopamine fix that you're aware of now, what goes on in your brain, but just be aware of how what you're reading is making you feel. So one of the things we learn in meditation is all about, particularly mindful meditation, is about the stories that we feed ourselves. We feed ourselves stories all the time. In other words, we make stuff up. So if someone looks at us a certain way, we tend to start to make up a story. Why did they look at me that way? Oh, they smiled back. That's nice. I wonder why they're smiling at me. Oh, they smiled at me, or they didn't smile at me. Actually, I'm not quite sure why they didn't smile at me, and I smiled at them. And all of a sudden, our mind creates a story and it runs away. And what we find when we practice meditation is that we start to recognize the stories that we're telling ourselves. So we can take ownership back. No, that's just a story. It's not the truth, not the facts. Back in my breath, back in my body. But when we're using social media and we're reading emails, it's very interesting to pay attention to what happens to our bodies as we take in that information. And we've even done it with young people before using a mobile phone, where we got that person to pay attention to what the signals in their body when they received a message that they perceived as liking to one that they didn't like. And they got very clear signals in their body. They got a signal for when they liked it, appeared in one part of their body, and then they got a signal for when they didn't like it and it made them feel uncomfortable. And the reason for making you aware of this when you're using social media and email is that that signal in your body is potentially part of your stress response, and it's trying to keep you safe and to help you avoid any kind of threat. Now, the threat is not necessarily real, it's just based on our perception of that message or that social media information we've been reading. But if we don't, our body doesn't know any different. So if we are getting those signals all the time, we're actually sending ourselves into quite a stressful state all the time. And our body kind of responds to that with its fight, flight, or freeze response. And it's maybe why when we've been online for a long time, we can really overreact or react quite strongly to a situation just because we're on full alert. So if you find yourself noticing the signals in your body, again, it's back to this whole thing about awareness. We can't change anything until we become aware of it. We don't know dopamine is making us become a bit addicted to our social media. How can we change that? But once we know it, we then have a choice. And the choice for you can be to notice the sensation in your body and then just even lay your hand on that part of your body or just breathe into that part of your body and offer your body a little bit of respite to just relax. And if that means that you can't come away from the social media or the email at the time, fair enough. But if you can, you're going to help your body recover that little bit more quickly. And so it's not really a tip, but a suggestion to you is to certainly, use your social media and your emails, because everybody communicates that way these days. But see if you can limit the time that you spend on that each day. I've even done things on my mobile phone now where I've taken Facebook and Messenger off my mobile phone. I still check it because when I go into my computer, I'll have a quick look at it. But it was just, I was finding that constant kind of, an update and a message was just overwhelming. So I took it off my phone and I limit my access to it now, just so that it's not there all the time. So I hope you found that useful and it helps with your ability to meditate whilst you're using social media or emails. It's part of life now, and think of it this way, I'm communicating to you by email, so there's a certain irony there, I have to say. And if it's social media you're reading this on, the irony is there as well. So, but hope you try these few things I've suggested. Have a wonderful week. Bye for now.